Squad, welcome back to this week's video, and I hope you guys enjoyed Andrew's video last Sunday, and I hope you enjoyed my video on the Epstein files the Sunday before that. There's still updates on that, so I might keep you guys updated on that if you would like that, but I would probably do it anyway because why not? Also, I got a new notebook. I saw it at the store and I thought it was perfect for our channel, so this is what I will be keeping our research in from now on until I fill it up and have to get a new notebook. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into the Alright, so today's video is going to be about Adriana Smith, which is this woman right here. You see her? She's beautiful, right? Alright, well, let me tell you her not so beautiful story if you live under a rock. So this video is going to be a little sensitive. So if you don't like hearing about dead people giving birth, I wouldn't watch this video. But I would stick around to be informed on how messed up it is. But before we get into Adriana Smith's pregnancy case, let me give you some background on the state of Georgia. Alright, so Georgia's abortion law, known as the Life Act, restricts abortions once a fetal heartbeat is detected. In practice, a 6-week abortion ban with exceptions. So they only allow it with these certain exceptions, these certain things that happen to women. Anyway, in cases which a police report for incest, assault has been filed, and for later abortions when they are fetal abnormalities, or there are life-threatening risks to the mother. This law was passed in 2019. The law could not be enforced until 2022 ruling in Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization, which overturned Roe v. Wade. I'm going to pause real quick. I do have a video all about Roe versus Wade. It's already been published. I will go ahead and link it down below. So that way, for people who don't know what Roe v. Wade is, you guys can look into that and get all the information there. I will also have a link down below with Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization. It's all very important info that we all need to know, especially women and people who actually like women, because believe it or not, there's a lot of people out there that don't like women, including women. A lot of women don't like other women, and we gotta stop doing that. We need to protect each other. We'll get back to this background information in just a second. Let me get this out. We need to start protecting each other. We are not breeding stock. This is no longer the 1800s and back, okay? We're not your breeding stock. I am not here to be married, have kids, and take care of the house and that be it. We're not doing that anymore, all right? And you guys with the fragile little egos to think that's what we're still made for, I hope you guys enjoy this video, okay? Back to the background information. The state's abortion law most recently drew national media attention during the 2024 presidential race when Democratic candidate Kamala Harris said the preventable deaths of Georgia women Amber Thurman and Candy Miller were the result of abortion bans in the state across the country. I couldn't find a picture of Candy Miller, but I do have one of Amber Thurman right here. She was another woman who died during childbirth. I will have a link down below that will tell you about Adriana, Candy, and Amber all in one go. It's already linked down below, but I do have a picture right here with a short synopsis about Amber Thurman. But Adriana Smith is just like the icing on the cake. And before I interrupt myself with something else. I want to talk about causes that can make women die in childbirth. These are the direct causes, by the way. You have severe bleeding, infections, high blood pressure disorders known as preeclampsia and eclampsia, and just complications from delivery itself. And then I'll just throw up some pictures here and not directions, definitions for you about those said things. But we are going to get into Adriana here in just a second. I want to go ahead and read those to you right now. All right, so you have your severe bleeding, which leads to hemorrhaging, infections, hypertensive disorders of pregnancy, complications of labor and delivery, and then you have your unsafe abortions, which are just abortions performed either by a doctor with malpractice or just unsafe in general. And then you have your cardiovascular conditions, thrombotic embolism, cardiopathy, mental health conditions, pre-existing conditions, and then you also have your inadequate access to healthcare, socioeconomic factors, racism and discrimination, and then delays in seeking care. Those are just some examples of what can kill a mother during childbirth. All right, so back to Adriana. The pregnancy of Adriana Smith, a woman from Georgia, U.S., is the focus of an ongoing medical ethics controversy. Following a medical emergency in February 2025, Smith was declared brain dead, but continuing fetal cardiac activity was detected. According to the family, the hospital stated that ending Smith's life support would violate Georgia's abortion law. Therefore, at 9 weeks gestation, Smith was kept on life support to allow sufficient fetal development for delivery. The family had absolutely no choice in the matter. On June 13th, Smith's child was born prematurely via emergency C-section delivery. Though the hospital has not given a reason for the timing, Smith was taken off life support 4 days later on June 17th. The case has drawn national and international media attention to restrictive laws on abortion in the U.S. after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. And then here's some background on Adriana. She was a 30-year-old black woman who worked as a nurse and lived in Atlanta, Georgia, and was seen at Northside Hospital in February 2025. She was having some headaches, and she went to the hospital to get medicine for it, and the doctors basically told her she was fine, just take these pills, and you'll be alright. And then she went to bed one night, and her boyfriend, was hearing her gasp, and she didn't wake up. And since she was pregnant, the only thing the doctors were worried about was making sure that this baby was born, whether or not Adriana was alive or not. So they really just kept her body alive as an incubator to make sure a baby was born, instead of just letting her rest peacefully and letting the unborn baby, who wasn't even fully formed probably yet, be born. She died before her 9 months of pregnancy was fully 9 months. They kept her on life support just long enough for that baby to be fully developed in her stomach, just to be born prematurely. So this baby is probably going to have a lot of issues health-wise growing up, because it was born very prematurely. Which means bad things are probably more than likely going to happen to this poor baby. It was inside her getting force-fed nutrients because she was dead. declared brain dead, and they forced her to have a child. She did not give birth. She was forced to have a baby while being deceased. And this case does not get talked about enough. So, like I said, this case does not get talked about enough. All right? They treated her like a literal incubator because of their abortion laws. Instead of just letting this poor woman lay and be rested, they forced her to have a child while being dead. And this is why it's important that all of us women, whether you agree or don't agree with abortion, needs to be set aside. Okay? Needs to be set aside. Because getting an abortion can actually save your own life. And it doesn't really matter. And it's none of your business whether or not a woman wants to get an abortion or not. It's none of anyone's business of why a woman is getting an abortion. It doesn't matter, okay? And, you know, childbirth can kill women in the process. Some women have something already wrong with them, so they will lose the baby before childbirth is even an option. And then we get blamed for it. Like, I'm sorry that my body is not compatible for children, and I'm the one to blame for that. Like, okay, that makes sense. Because nobody blames men for being impotent. Okay? So, like, if abortions are getting banned, and we're supposed to have children, then Viagra needs to be banned, okay? Because if having kids is God's will, then so is your limp, okay? That's all I have to say. Like, you should not be allowed to take Viagra if I'm not allowed to have birth control, Plan B, an abortion, or healthcare for my woman anatomy, okay? Viagra should be banned too. Men should not be allowed to have any enhancements if women are forced to have children. And that's just my opinion on that. And if you're pro-life and taking birth control, you're not pro-life, you're pro-choice, by the way. Just so you know. If you are taking birth control and you're pro-life, you're not pro-life, you're pro-choice. You're pro-choice. Just so you know. Because birth control is supposed to help not have babies, correct? Correct. Just so we're on the same page here. Got it. Also, pro-lifers who are Christian, I want to talk to you real quick. Okay? There are Bible stories, Bible verses of God unaliving children. Do you guys just skip over the book of Moses entirely, where he unalives the firstborn of every family? Like, do you guys skip that? Do you skip those chapters when you guys go to church? Because I looked them up, and they're there, and I have my own Bible as a former Christian. I've read it. God does not care whether you have an abortion or not. Okay? That's the last thing he's worried about, because he himself did it. Okay? There are several chapters of him punishing children. Several. And the research I did to make this statement, to back this up, that's in the description box below, is insane. Alright? Google is free. Bibles, I don't know how much they cost, but going to church and looking into them is also free. Okay? Like, dear men, and stay out of women's health care. Unless you actually care about us, stay out of it. And women who are just as bad as those men, fix your brain chemistry or something. Because imagine being a woman and being alright, taking away your own freaking rights. Okay? Like, how dumb are you, first of all, to sit back and be like, yeah, this is great. Removing rights, even though I myself am of the same gender? Yeah, let's take those away. Like, what? What? What is wrong with you? What is wrong with everyone? I'm not saying let's all become perfect little saints, but I'm saying let's just be freaking cordial with one another. Okay? Like, it's really not that hard to be nice. Like, yeah, sure, being mean is easy, but being nice is free. And I genuinely believe that being nice might genuinely kill some people. Like, you might actually die on the spot if you're nice to someone. But yeah, I'm gonna just throw some examples up here of God unaliving children, because pro-lifers seem to skip those chapters in the Bible. So there you go, and the links are down below if you don't believe me. And maybe read a Bible every once in a while. I don't know. All I'm saying is, don't ban abortion, because if you don't know what happened in the 50s and 60s, during that time period of banning abortions, so many women died. So many. Like, first of all, if you guys are so worried about, like, people having children, just leave it to the people who actually want them. Because not everyone wants them. I'm pretty sure if you went and asked, like, every other woman, they'd be like, yeah, no, I don't want kids. Same with men. Men also don't want children anymore. Have you seen children? Have you been around children? And I'm not talking about hanging out with your siblings, because that's a different story. Like, working in a public setting. Like, kids have their own set of behaviors, and then they also have how their parents raise them. Those two factors factor into how a child grows up. And parents don't parent anymore. I swear they don't parent anymore. Like, they're just like, oh, don't do that. And then they continue to do that, and they don't even do anything about their child doing whatever they're doing. Like, I know that isn't really, like, a correlation, but I need to rant about this, because this poor woman, she wanted her kid, obviously, or she wouldn't have, like, tried to go through a pregnancy. She was forced to have this baby while not even being alive. Imagine being alive as well and being forced to have a child you don't want because you're going to go to jail. And then going to jail because you have a miscarriage. Like, you can't even live in Texas and be a woman, because there was a girl, like, a couple years ago. I unfortunately don't remember her name. I'm too upset to remember. But if I find it, it will be linked down below. She was assaulted by her uncle, and she was forced to have that baby. Who wants that? I don't want to have a child by my uncle, especially not by choice, if you're into that kind of thing, and if you are, disgusting. But I don't want to have a child by my uncle who I was assaulted by, and then look at that baby and be reminded of that every day of my life. No woman wants that. No woman wants that. Okay? Abortion should just be okay, and not with exceptions. It should just be okay. And on that note, we're done with this video, because if I keep going, I'm gonna get more and more angry. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.